Thrilled to have each of you here tonight, and we are recording and live streaming this event, and we welcome all those who will be watching this later. Your presence tonight is a demonstration of your value you place in our community. Thank you. My name is Tamara Zander, and I have the privilege of serving currently on the South Jordan City Council, along with the other wonderful council members and our esteemed mayor. I get to be the MC tonight as invited by Mayor Ramsey. I did not volunteer for this. She asked me to. Like you, I love this great city of South Jordan, and I look forward to celebrating together tonight. We will hear from Mayor Dawn Ramsey, Mayor of the city of South Jordan. Mayor Ramsey's passion for this community shines in her tireless work. She has devoted countless hours to serving and leading our community. She's eager to share the good news, and she will take the stage in a few moments. Friends, I believe we live in the most blessed, wonderful state in the United States of America, and one of the greatest cities in that state. Many of you call South Jordan home, as I do, and it's a privilege to be here tonight. South Jordan has been named one of the 25 best cities in America several times. Let me share a brief list of some wonderful facts about our city. In 2020, South Jordan was the first and only city to ever receive the State of Utah's Ethical Leadership in Government Award. Last year, our mayor received the first Martha Hughes Cannon Award for Outstanding Impact in State and Local Government. The award-winning Master Plan Community of Daybreak has been named the best place in America to retire and has received awards for design and healthy innovations. Additionally, our Pure Sojo water reuse project received national acclaim when it was named one of the most impactful and outstanding engineering projects in America by the American Council of Engineering Companies. Those are some of the highlights of what this city of South Jordan has accomplished. All this is possible as we exercise effective collaboration between elected officials, our talented city staff, and residents working together to boost a strong AAA bond rating year after year. Right? And that's not all. All of these impressive and important accomplishments are happening while we continue to grow as one of America's top 10 fastest growing cities in the US, according to the census. So we will begin this evening with a color guard presentation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by our South Jordan Police and Fire Departments. We will then be honored to have the national anthem performed by the incredible Bingham High School Madrigals. Following the national anthem, you'll be seated and we will have an invocation by South Jordan Councilmember Kathy Johnson. So if you will please turn your attention to our color guard at the back, they will go ahead and present arms.
Our Heavenly Father, we are so grateful to be able to gather this day in recognition of the great sacrifice that has come for us to be inheritors of this great country. We're grateful for those who have served and protected us, and for the many people who have made our country so great. We're especially grateful for our city, for all those who have strived to make this a place that we can gather, live in peace and respect. We're grateful for the opportunities we have had to grow, to raise our families, and to be able to interact with one another. We ask you to please continue to bless our city, that it may be that place that we call home, that we will be able to always be here and to interact with each other and to make this a strong place. We ask you to bless those who work in our city, that they may be kept safe as they protect and grow our city. And this evening, let us reflect upon the great blessings that we have for all those who interact with us to make us strong and to help us to grow. And we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Special thanks to our color guard. That was fantastic. And madrigals, I don't know about you, but my heart was pumping. Am I on again? I'm so tall. There we go. Tall Tamara. There we go. All right. Thank you so much. Madrigals, that was absolutely stunning. My heart was beating and I felt such a great patriotic spirit And thank you, Councilmember Johnson. I'd like to introduce the city council members tonight briefly, and then I will say a few words and we'll turn the time over to our mayor. So if Patrick Harris, Kathy Johnson, Don Shelton, and Jason McGuire would please join me up here on the stage. Yes. So we are the five council members that are privileged and honored to serve right now in the South Jordan City Council with Mayor Ramsey. And Patrick Harris is District 1, Kathy Johnson is District 2, Don Shelton is District 3, Tamara Zander, I'm in District 4, and Jason McGuire is District 5. These fellow council members, I could go on and on about what stellar individuals they are. I feel sincerely that none of them are self-serving. They're here for the better good of the city. When we collaborate, we don't always agree, but we do collaborate. And there's always an overlying feeling of civility and respect. And that's how government should be across the board, and it isn't all the time. And so big round of applause to our mayor, who's a good leader, and to this council. Thank you. Wonderful, thank you. Okay, it is now my privilege to introduce Mayor Don R. Ramsey. Since being elected in 2017, Mayor Ramsey has prioritized building relationships and ensuring long-term quality of life by representing the interests of South Jordan in every arena possible. Every arena possible. Those of you here know her, you know her fingerprints are on a lot of things in a positive way. She has become a respected leader across the state in local government, transportation and transit planning, economic development, water planning and conservation, education, open space preservation, housing, support for military families and veterans, and planning for future growth. During her tenure, the city has grown from about 60,000 to nearly 100,000 residents. That's remarkable. Under her leadership, South Jordan has maintained its high standard of service and remains one of the best places in America to live, work, and play, while also planning for thoughtful quality growth. I remember when Dawn, can I call you Dawn? I remember when Dawn first ran for office in 2017. She called me on the phone and we had a good long chat. Do you remember that? It was Sunday afternoon and she said, Tamara, I'm thinking of running. I said, for what? And she said, for mayor. I'm like, well, you go, girl. And at the time, I was the only female serving in city government. And now we have 3 of us that are serving. So it's fantastic. She's been a remarkable leader, a dear friend, and a great example. When she ran, I remember that she promised to dedicate herself full time to the work of the city. And everyone in this room knows that she has delivered on that promise. She represents South Jordan City well. I believe she serves on more public boards than anyone else in the state of Utah. We should have a competition and give her a crown for that one right there. Ensuring South Jordan's interests is her top priority, and she is serving so many places. I'm going to mention a few. There's a longer list than what I'm going to read tonight. A few of the additional hats she has worn or is currently wearing since taking office on January 1st, 2018 include President of the Utah League of Cities and Towns, Chair of Wasatch Front Regional Council, member of the Unified Economic Opportunity Commission, where she represents all cities and towns in the state of Utah, Public Sector Chair of the Economic Development Corporation of Utah, President of the Jordan Education Foundation, Trustee for Point of the Mountain State Land Authority, Trustee for Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District, Trustee for South Valley Sewer District Executive Committee, Board Member of Envision Utah, Board Member of the State of Utah Olene Walker Affordable Housing Loan Fund, Board Member of the State Drinking Water, Board Member of Intermountain Health South Valley Hospitals, Board Member of the Jordan River Commission, Board Member of the Brent Taylor Foundation, Chair of the Salt Lake County Council of Governments, plus dozens of additional boards, commissions, and committees. Let's do a round of applause for just that. Thank you. Well-deserved applause. Through her tireless dedication and love for the city, she's led initiatives that have catalyzed growth, improved lives, and left a lasting positive legacy as she leads South Jordan City. I'm biased, I know, but South Jordan continues to be a leader and an exemplary city across the state of Utah. Yes. I don't want to fail to mention Mayor Ramsey's beautiful family, some of which are right here on the second row, and her beautiful, wonderful, I shouldn't say beautiful, her wonderful husband, Dan. She has a wonderful family, a healthy marriage, and that's commendable on top of all that she does. Dan Ramsey and their children have been incredible supportive people throughout this entire process, and we are grateful for their loving support of our dear mayor. And now I'll introduce our mayor, Don Ramsey.
Wow, I've already had this breadth of emotion tonight. I cannot even see you. I was in tears. I don't know. I was overwhelmed with how much I love our country and our city, and how grateful I am to get to be part of this during that opening part. So thank you to the Madrigals. Thank you to our police and fire color guard. Thank you to our city council. Tamara, thank you. Very, very nice. I went from overwhelmed to overwhelmed and kind of embarrassed. So anyway, thank you. Thank you for being here with us tonight. It is my privilege to welcome you. This is our second ever. So second annual is what we're calling it, but it's the second ever. So we're starting a tradition, State of the City event here at the City of South Jordan. And I'm not a fan of just boring speeches. I don't think that people want to come sit in an auditorium and just hear me drone on. So we don't do it that way. Not to say it won't ever be that way in the future. I don't know. Whoever does it can do it however they want. That's not my style. So we're not doing it that way. I have asked some of the strongest and most effective and best leaders in our entire region, in our entire state, to join us tonight. And I really appreciate, these are very busy people, as are all of you. And it's just humbling and a bit overwhelming to me that you would all be here. Thank you for coming to spend time here. Thank you for being supportive of what we're working on here in South Jordan and helping to be part of keeping this one of the best places in America to live. So we're gonna, yeah, please. It really is. It really is. I am going to introduce my guests and invite them one at a time as I introduce them to come up. And if I could see you, I wish I could point out everyone in the audience. I am unable to do that, but this is a packed house with some very spectacular people, and I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you. Okay, first tonight, our first guest that we're excited to have come up and join me on stage, Susan Pulsipher, has been retired from the Utah House of Representatives for 2 weeks, where she has served representing South Jordan for the last 8 years. Prior to that, she represented South Jordan on the Jordan District Board of Education for 8 years, where she also served as president. Susan has spent 16 years giving with, these jobs don't really pay. Like, she does this as almost a volunteer. It's pretty close to volunteer. She has dedicated her time and her life to serving the citizens of South Jordan, our residents here, and she has done great things that have changed the face and the quality of life for the better of what's happening here in our city. Her husband, David, is here with us tonight. We appreciate him and all of his support. Please join me in welcoming newly former Representative Susan Pulsipher. You don't want to listen close. The walk-up music is a thing. Next, it is my privilege to introduce to you Mayor Jenny Wilson of Salt Lake County. Mayor Wilson was just elected to another term. She was originally elected in 2019 to fill the vacancy left by Ben McAdams. She was then elected to a full term in 2020, and again, just now elected to another term. Prior to that, she served 10 years on the city council as a county council member at large, representing the entire county. Mayor Wilson has been such a key partner in helping to get done so many of the things that we're doing. She cares about what happens in all the communities in our county. She cares about what's happening in South Jordan, and she has been a great partner in helping us accomplish what we want to do in ways that the county can be supportive. Grateful for her and grateful for her willingness to come spend tonight with us. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Jenny Wilson. No, I like the music. But I must warn you, if they play it for too long, I will either begin to sing or shake, move, So anyway, they know to cut it off. They're like, do not do that. It is my privilege tonight to introduce Amanda Covington. Amanda Covington is the Chief Corporate Affairs Officer for the Larry H. Miller Company. She has more than 20 years of experience doing both corporate and political communications and strategy. Amanda she's brilliant. She is so good. And there's not much that happens that don't have her fingerprints on it because she's such a trusted advisor for so many in the state. Amanda serves on a lot of boards. She chairs the Board of Trustees for the Utah Board of Higher Education. She was the communications director for Governor Walker, Olene Walker. She was also the director of communications for the Utah Department of Transportation, and the list goes on and on and on. Amanda does so much, and she is a very key partner for us here in South Jordan. Please join me in welcoming Amanda Covington. And last but certainly not least, Beth Holbrook serves as a trustee for the Utah Transit Authority. I am so grateful for her willingness to be here tonight and her partner in crime, who we so appreciate, her fellow trustee. We just are really grateful to have our friends from UTA here. Beth Holbrook is a leader across this state, and she has worked with us, along with Carlton Christensen and the entire team from UTA, on some pretty exciting things that we're happy to talk about tonight. We're looking forward to talking about that tonight. Beth and I serve together in a variety of ways. She wears a lot of hats, and she serves on a lot of other boards. Interesting note, I'm not positive it was second, but as far as I know, Beth was the second woman to ever serve as the president of the Utah League of Cities and Towns, and that was my very first year coming into the organization when I was very first elected. She was the second woman to serve as president, and I had the privilege a few years later of being the third. And so I had big shoes to try to walk in and fill, and Beth has been a leader and an example. She also chairs the Olene Walker Affordable Housing Loan Fund board here in Utah and the Urban Land Institute. She's everywhere, and we're so grateful she's here with us tonight. Please join me in welcoming Beth Holbrook. Okay, see, you can already tell this is going to be more fun than just me speaking at you, right? It is, because you're going to get to hear from some of the finest leaders in the state of Utah. I want to start with, can I call you Representative Pulsifer? Can I call you Susan? What do you want me to call you? I mean, officially it's former representative, but it's been so recent. Her retirement is very fresh. I don't even know if you've had a nap yet. Probably not. Susan, we are so grateful for what you've done. You and I have had the chance to serve together wearing different hats for a lot of years, right? We both spent a lot of time supporting Jordan School District and public education and wearing different hats. We've worked together on a lot of things. So I think I know more than maybe the people in the audience know about some of what you've accomplished. I wonder if you have a couple of highlights that have been your favorite or the most meaningful things to you that you've been able to do over this last, whether it was the 8 years in the legislature or the 8 years on the school board. Anything come to mind that are some of your favorites?
I think my favorite was serving the people of South Jordan. I live in South Jordan and have for 25 years. and just love the people. And I think that the thing that I have appreciated and loved the most is opportunities to actually serve them. So one of those is stories I like to tell, an example of serving the citizens in South Jordan and working with South Jordan City to do it. In fact, that's the other thing that I have loved about my term as I've served on the school board and in the legislature is the opportunity to work with South Jordan City, because they are wonderful to work with, and it has just been a delight. So a number of years ago, there was a citizen, well, she actually was a former citizen of South Jordan City.
But
But
her
her-
entire family lives
Yes,
here.
her family moved to South Jordan City, maybe before it was South Jordan City. It was a very long time ago, and bought a farm. They bought 40 acres, and they developed that farm. In fact, she says her grandfather turned down a possible professional opportunity to play ball to farm in South Jordan City. And he raised his family on that farm and divided the land amongst his family. And this was very important to her family. And she had heard that there was a potential that they might lose some of their farm to eminent domain. So she came to me. I talked with South Jordan City, and South Jordan City had no plans to do that.
There was never a plan to do that. And we
No.
wanted to make sure
Yes.
that there never could be.
Yes. And so we realized that this was an opportunity to make sure that some future time that would not happen. So we worked together to come up with some legislation to limit the scope of eminent domain in a century-old farm. So when a farm has been in, property has been a farm, has been with the same family for over 100 years, becomes a century farm. There's actually a designation in. And so what we said is, if that there is a century farm in a county of the first class, which is Salt Lake County, that you could not take that land away through eminent domain for recreation, a park, a trail. Still, if there was a road that needed to be built or so on, that could still happen. But we limited the scope of eminent domain for a century farm. And they were so happy. That family slept well. They were so happy and so pleased because this was so important to them and so special to them. And I'm sure it applies to other families and other farms too. But the thing that I loved about it was the opportunity to work with South Jordan City, the attorney who was very wise in how we crafted this legislation and helped put it together so that we could have something that would apply to many people for the future, and especially that family. So that is one of the highlights. It was so great after that bill passed, we took a picture of all of us, and anyway, just, in fact, I even ran into this woman's son when I went to a store recently, and she says, "Are you Representative Pulsipher? My mom told me about you." And it was just because this was so important. So that's one of the things that's happened, and there are others. Another thing I just talk about briefly is one of the citizens of South Jordan came to me a number of years ago talking about how to help keep our young people safe with devices, with cell phones and other devices. And I worked with him extensively, actually over several years, because getting this policy passed took several years. And actually this year's when we actually, I think, finally got it across the finish line to create a bill that said that when a device is activated, that it has to turn on the filter that would limit exposure to pornographic and other inappropriate materials if they were a minor. And that we worked hard. We talked with city, we talked with many people in the community. And again, it took several years and we got it over the finish line this year. And again, I love it because these ideas have come from our citizens and our ways that we in state government can help our citizens, and appreciate the efforts that we've had.
Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause. These are two of so many things. And Susan, we're just really grateful. On behalf of the city of South Jordan, we're grateful that you've always been supportive. Susan has never worked against us. She has always worked with us. She's been a collaborative partner. It isn't that way all the time everywhere. And we just are so grateful for you and everything that you've helped us accomplish, our priorities and the priorities of the residents of South Jordan. The entire state is better, but South Jordan is certainly better because of your service. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And, there's one other thing I'd like to share. Again, being in collaboration. When I was on the school board, I used to like to come to city council meetings every so often and I'd sit in the audience and listen. And normally the things that they were talking about were things that I wasn't that interested in. And often I would be scrolling on my phone and doing, and doing other work. And one night I was sitting there and all of a sudden, what they were talking about caught my attention. And they were looking to make some zoning changes so they could build houses in an area, and it was actually my neighborhood. It was just down the hill from where I live. And I thought, wait a minute. Oh, they're going to build houses there? But the thing that caught my attention is I knew that the city boundary between Riverton and South Jordan in that area was a little not straight, a little crooked and strange. And I thought, I wonder where our school boundaries are. I need to find out. So I went after the meeting and I called our people down at Jordan School District and found that, yes, we had a straight line and the city boundary was not a straight line. And if we had not changed that boundary, it probably would have gone through somebody's bedroom because it didn't follow. So we hurried as a school board and made adjustments to that boundary so it followed the city boundary so that it would accommodate that. And I think that's another time when we were able to work together to make something good for our citizens.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to ask Mayor Wilson. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you being here. These are all really busy people. Everybody in this room is. It just means a lot that you're here. So we were really excited to have the announcement come out recently about a new South Valley Performing Arts Center that will be put right here in South Jordan. It's been a lot of years in the making. That is not a recent project. It took a lot of time to get to that point where it became official and it was decided and the county decided to put it in South Jordan to service the entire southwest part of the valley. And it wouldn't have happened without your support and the support of Daybreak and the Larry H. Miller Company. And so I want to talk about that because I don't even know if everybody in this room caught that memo, but this is exciting news. Would you mind telling us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as mayor of Salt Lake County, we do a variety of things, and I work very closely with all of our elected officials throughout the county. And we take our arts and culture mission very seriously. And we appreciate that the public agrees with that sort of focused dedication. You saw that with the passage of the most popular tax in our state, which is the zoo arts and I don't think there is a popular tax except for this one. 80% of the public again reauthorized our zoo arts and parks tax. Sales tax this past election. And that's one of the revenue streams that helps us build rec centers and arts and culture centers and such throughout the valley. But we do have other revenue streams that are kind of tricky to support arts and culture projects throughout the county. Years ago, it was decided that the downtown major arts facilities are special to us. We know that. Abravanel Hall, we've heard a lot about that lately, and I'm happy that the county's moved, and we're working right now to make sure that that building is preserved into the future. The Capitol Theater, the home of our ballet and other performing arts. The list goes on. A recent addition, of course, is the Eccles Theater, the Broadway Theater downtown. These are amazing facilities in downtown. They should be in downtown Salt Lake City, our capital city, but we also need arts and culture opportunity throughout our county. So years ago, the Rose Wagner Theater was built in downtown Salt Lake, and it's a multi-purpose theater, but a great venue for arts performance type events. And we realized that every sector of our county would benefit from these types of regional centers. So years ago, the county kind of cobbled together the resources and planned, and there was one announced and built that opened just 2 years ago in Taylorsville. So if you haven't been to the new Taylorsville Center, go check it out, because it'll give you a sense of what we will now see as the Larry H. and Gail Miller Family Art Center will open. Our hope is 3 years from now, maybe in January in 3 years, hopefully, Amanda. But about 3 years from now, we'll see another Rose Wagner, another Taylorsville right here in South Jordan. And these art centers are meant to support the entire community, but they clearly benefit the city that houses them for a lot of reasons, right? Your residents are most accessible. The Taylorsville Center is built right next to City Hall, and that's been really great. This center is strategically located. In fact, Amanda and I were on the phone, hard to believe, just last summer saying, hey, we're going to shift the location a little for strategic reasons so that we can take advantage of a lot of the other things happening right in the area. So in the heart of the new expanded Daybreak, we're going to see this art center open. And the punchline in all of this is you all would have been waiting, I think, probably another 6 to 8 to 10 years until the county had the revenue necessary, had it not been for the generous donation of the Larry H. Miller Family Foundation. And this coming together of city planners, the vision that you have rolled out, Mayor, so beautifully, an amazing partner, and then the county resources. It's the best that I can remember of a very powerful public-private partnership. That ability to cobble together all of those resources will indeed allow our planning to continue even tomorrow as we look forward to groundbreaking soon. And then about 3 years from now is our target opening for that venue. It's going to be amazing, and we're so thrilled. Thank you, residents. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone. It's super exciting.
Thank you. So along those lines, it really wouldn't have happened. So it was a long time ago. There was more than just South Jordan City that was very interested in being the home of this new potential South Valley Performing Arts Center. We obviously weren't the only people that really thought that would be a great idea to put in our community. And so I appreciate that the county, this was not an arbitrary decision. They did a study. They did a regional arts study for our area to really try to determine where is going to be the most effective, the most efficient, the most successful location for this. We're really thrilled that that ended up where we agreed it should be all along. We are very happy with how that turned out, but it would not happen without the generosity of Daybreak and the Larry H. Miller, Larry and Gail Miller Family Foundation. Amanda, will you tell us a little bit about what that donation is and why it's so important to our community?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to do that. And it's an honor to represent the Miller family. I think they are incredible stewards of our state and our communities throughout the state. As you said, this started years ago in Daybreak. The Larry H. Miller Company purchased Daybreak in 2021. Even prior to our acquisition of Daybreak, the folks that worked at Daybreak worked with the county to try to set aside this parcel of land in the planning stages. And so along with the Larry H. and Gail Miller Family Foundation contribution is a land donation. And as the mayor referenced, as we started to see the sports and entertainment district evolve and the ballpark come alive, and where would the Megaplex Theater be and the new track station, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, we wanted to put this in close proximity. So families can come and enjoy a plethora of activities and dining and retail and really make a day of it. And so I'm really grateful that the land was set aside and thoughtfully approached. The county was great. The council had planned years ago, and I know Mayor Wilson was on the council at that time. And then the Larry H. and Gail Miller Family Foundation has key focus areas that focus on health and medicine and economic development and education and other things, but they also focus on arts and culture. And Gail and the family believe that that ability to invest in communities and arts and culture really benefits our families and creates robust community. And it was their honor to partner with Mayor Wilson and her team to put toward a $25 million foundation to help get that financing and budget over the finish line. I know our team from Daybreak are here, David Cannon and then Stephen James and others have met with the architects and the planners. And I think you'll find that our vision also is to integrate into the fabric of the community and create something really special that everyone can be proud of. And so this has been an incredible partnership. I remember you called me and said, this has to be in South Jordan. We cannot let it leave South Jordan. And I assured her that we were all working very hard to make that happen. So I think we break ground a year from now. Mayor alluded to that in 2026, and then we'll have a grand opening. We are very hopeful in 2028, and we can't wait to see all of our families and friends out there. So thank you.
Thank you. A $25 million donation to help get this funding across the finish line. A big deal. Big deal.
I should note, that's the largest donation to the county to date for one of our projects. Really amazing, by far.
Thank you. I want to talk with you as well. For as long as I've been in this role and before that, there's been a desire for a long time to have a facility for the Bingham High School swimmers. My daughters were Bingham High School swimmers back in the day. To have a facility close to home, knowing that the Marv Jensen Rec Center was going to close, which it did a few years ago, to have a facility. And truth be told, the bottom line is none of us have the money to add lap lanes on our own. None of us do. It's not something we can get the money from the legislature for. The county, who owns the South Jordan Recreation Center now, it's a lot of money. The land is money. It's all money. The city does not have the money. The school district doesn't have the money. And we created a very unique partnership, one that doesn't happen. That's part of what I just really wanted to share tonight, is that this group and this council and our staff and this team are so good at creating partnerships that don't happen. They're very rare because it takes everyone working together on the same page and catching the same vision. It's special when that happens, and we created a three-way partnership, and we are so thrilled that those lap lanes are going to go in, and our community, our local swimmers, if you like to go swim laps, if your kids swim laps, if you want to go do any of that, or if they participate on a swim team at any age, they're going to be able to do that again in South Jordan soon because of the partnership that we've been able to create. And it really is special. It is unprecedented. We're not aware of another relationship like this where the city has donated the land, the county is paying for these lanes, paying for the addition, putting up the money. They're really putting up the money, and the whole council was supportive. And having you put this in your budget and make it a priority just means so much. And Jordan School District is partnering by making a donation toward the operation costs so their swimmers can swim there as well. A three-way partnership between all three of those public entities is hard to make happen, and we have made it happen. And I wondered if you would talk a little bit more about what a big deal this is.
Yeah, it is a big deal because as much as we would love to provide every desired recreation amenity to everyone, we simply cannot. You may be aware that the county has recently opened up some incredible new hiking, biking, and equestrian trails in Yellow Fork, Butterfield Canyon area. Phase 2, like I hope that I can enjoy it someday. I don't know if we're going to be able to roll out phase 2 while I'm mayor. I wish we could, and I'm working to see if there's some creative way to get some more trail built, because that is spectacular if you haven't been out. So that's one example of one of the reach elements of what we're doing. I'm going to answer your question, but I also want to share that we also make a decision when it's the right decision to do things differently. And when we decided that the county shouldn't be in the equestrian business, and that moving our equestrian center to management by Utah State under the new model was going to be the benefit of the facility, the community, everyone. We were willing to make that change, and I think it was a good one. There's been additional investment there. So it's interesting because I think about where if you're a city mayor, you get a wide range of people reaching out to you for a variety of reasons. We do at Salt Lake County, but it's not, we're not the pulse of a city necessarily. I represent 23 municipalities. So I do hear from musicians and people who love Abravanel Hall, as I should. And I hear from lap swimmers. I mean, it's quite often. My communications director, Liz, is here. He used to work with Parks and Rec, and I rated her from them, and she's now my comms director. But she has a lot to say about this issue. We hear from lap swimmers. And then this quandary that school districts have, we want competitive swim teams. I mean, if you're a youth swimmer, that is awesome, but it's different than a soccer player where you can jump a bunch of kids on a field and throw a ball and get some good coaching in, and that's the passion and the love. Swim lanes are very expensive real estate, and there are elderly people who rely on them. I just read a letter yesterday, an impassioned letter from an elderly person who just wants a little more lane time. So this was a hard one for us, to be honest, because when we closed the previous rec center, it was aging, it was time. We open up new rec centers, we do analysis on, where the population is moving. And this was a situation where the public was like, wait a minute. And it was, I think, a positive, similar to a certain degree to the decision to place the Arts Center in the heart of a vibrant community with an expansion, serving not just South Jordan, but neighboring areas as well. That Arts Center, it'll serve the region, frankly. So with that, the idea of investing in this lanes was not an inexpensive proposition, but it's one that this community prioritized. We heard from you. We were as creative as we could be. We were a little slower than we would like. There were issues just related to get the funding settled. There were transfer of land issues. Once we got in, we discovered we're now dealing with an older building. It's not like building a brand new building. Those of you, I just did a remodel on my house, you get it. It's a little slower than we would like, but we are moving additional lanes, and we're happy to do so. And I'm not a swimmer, but I will come and swim one lane just to have some sort of commemorative skin in the game on this journey.
Thank you. They're not here with us tonight, or they would already be screaming and cheering and yelling, but we have a very passionate swim community in South Jordan City and in this entire region. And I know how grateful they were. And I can't tell you how many times I was on the phone with the mom that would call very respectfully representing the swim community. And for probably 5 years, I said, hang in there with us, hang in there with us. We are getting close, getting close. Anyway, thank you so much for that. We have more that we'll talk about. The new Performing Arts Center is going to go right by the new county library that's in Daybreak, the Daybreak branch, which is really cool from an environmental standpoint. You want to tell us about that designation real quick?
Yeah, it is the first net zero public building in the state. Truly net zero. There's a way you can trade tax credit, or not tax credits, air quality credits, et cetera. This actually is not relying on the grid. It is truly net zero. It's a beautiful facility. I know you've all been there. I hope you've been to the rooftop and look at the view to admire your beautiful community and the mountains and the region, and you can see the development happening nearby. So cool. But I was really happy to be at that opening because in my busy life, I realized this was happening, but I didn't really understand why or how. What I learned as I showed up for the opening that day was it was not more expensive, which is important because we can, as community leaders, legislators, our cities, counties, we can build well and not have it be, and have these buildings be energy efficient and good for our environment and not break the bank. So that's the first thing I learned. Second thing I learned is the reason it's net zero is the staff on site and the engineers made it a priority. The lead staff there, the librarian lead and others, are paying attention to when those lights are on. They're careful every day about how they run that building. They're being as careful as we need to be in our own homes. And that is how they engineered it in the right way. And they continue to operate it in the right way to assure its status. And that's just so cool. Like it's really awesome. So, and I will say it's amazing to be in my role and get to better understand the needs of the teeny tiny ski town of Alta. And, you run a ski town, they are unique. Our townships are special. I love the legacy of Magna, where you grew up. I think you went to Cyprus, right? I mean, every one of our communities, our capital city, they're all very special places. And the thing that I love the most about South Jordan is it is such an incredible blend of history, but also you look at your success and the fact that you do have this regional draw. So not only do you serve your residents with the basics, because it's clear that you do, and you're an amazing mayor, you truly are, and your council, all of you, you're incredible elected officials, but you're serving the region, and that's creating a better tax base for you. So it becomes a self-fulfilling deal. When you can have the prosperity that South Jordan has created, it's great for your kids. It gives your kids things to do. It gives them jobs in the new center, and it keeps kids on the right path. So it just becomes a model of success. And that's what we want in this county. That's what I strive to help our cities best that I can with our resources. They seem vast, but they feel limited to me as I look at all the need. But we are always striving to get the right economic model. And I will tell you, it doesn't happen by happenstance. It takes committed employees, all of us working together and being willing to do the hard things. I mean, adding the lanes, back to the point here, I guess I've kind of wandered, but adding those lanes was not a happenstance. It was a lot of staff commitment, a lot of mayors and others saying, whoa, we're going to do this. I know this is tricky. Back to our councils to get support, the school district, thank you. You guys are great in this and patient, and here we are. And sooner or later, we'll be taking that plunge together.
Thank you. This might be a little more technical and probably more boring than you care to hear, but I wanted you to share that about the library. Why does that matter? Well, I'm not sure that you're aware because it's not your job to be aware. It's our job to be aware. But we are aware that the Environmental Protection Agency a ways back changed the amount of the particulates that can be in the air. They changed the air quality standards, and Utah can't get there. We cannot get there with this basin that we live in, with the mountains the way we are. We can't meet the new standard. And so it's something the state of Utah is grappling with because there's a consequence. If we don't meet that standard, actually all of our transportation funding is going to freeze, even our own local transportation funding. That can't happen. So there's a lot of smart folks, some of them right here in this room, working very hard on this to get us to where we can be and to also make allowances for things that cannot be controlled. There's a lot of work going into that. But having this library be as efficient and effective as it is not contributing to that problem, and we need everything possible to not contribute to that problem. And so it really does matter. It matters for all of us. It matters for our health, and it matters because we need access to our transportation funding, and we can't have that frozen because of ozone layers. So levels. So everybody's working on it. It's a thing. Don't worry about it. But just know these are the thoughtful kind of things that are happening to try to help make places better now and for generations down the road. Thank you. We're not even going to get to touch on this, but we really love the Bingham Creek Regional Park, which was another very unique partnership that we put together, and we look forward to
We
phase
stood
two.
out there, the two of us, socially distanced, like in
During
2020
COVID,
with
yeah.
the first bulldozer out there, remember?
Yes,
I have
just
some
us.
awkward pictures
With
of us.
masks, like 12 feet apart going, we're breaking ground. Awesome.
Yeah, great memory.
Yeah, it's good. We have those pictures. Yeah. Okay, I want to talk to Amanda for a minute. We've talked about all of these things that we're talking about are interrelated, and everybody's going to have something to add in because there's a synergy that's being created that requires everyone to be on board to make these things happen. We're very excited about what's happening with the ballpark. Let's start there. The ballpark at America First Square. How about an update on how that's going?
I would be happy to share an update on how that's going. Talk about a vision. I remember when we purchased Daybreak in 2021, and we had several really great conversations. And one of the things we did is we met with the city council and went on a listening tour. We uncovered plans that dated back 20 years to bring an urban center, a downtown, to South Jordan in Daybreak. And we were really pleased to dust that off and remake that plan and bring that vision to life. And you're seeing it literally right now. The vision to bring a ballpark was not part of the original plan. We set out actually, and a lot of credit to Beth and to Mayor Wilson and you as a championing city, we worked on an HTRZ, the Housing Transit Reinvestment Zone application to, first of all, bring workforce and affordable housing into downtown Daybreak. And we had a vision for an urban center, job center, residential, connection to transit. It was right by Mountain View Corridor. As a couple of years went by, we then made a decision to build a ballpark there. And that has become an anchor tenant in downtown Daybreak. The Bees will play there for their opening game on April the 8th. So we are close. We're excited. I want to share a lot of gratitude for South Jordan City, for Ty, who has been lockstep with our teams, Dustin and Ryan, Brad Clavino. I could go on and on. Don Tingy. We have been together, right? I know that this is hard, and we looked at each other and we said, we're going to do something very difficult, but we will do it together. And I am grateful for your leadership and your partnership in that. And we hope to see all of you there. And I hope we'll see you there not only by maybe your scooter or your bike or walking and some driving, but I really hope to see a lot of you there via transit. And hats off to Carlton and to Beth and to the entire UTA team and South Jordan City for working to create a new transit stop there, because we want people to take the train to come to that first homestand on April 8th. And so we're excited about that. This is an 8,000 capacity ballpark. You will have opportunities to sit in the berm. You can sit in the stands. There will be field level suites. There will be premium suites and club space. There is a ticket for everybody. And we think that you'll find incredible amenities. We had some folks that build major league stadiums and minor league stadiums across the country come and visit last week. And they said that this minor league ballpark is better than, the amenities are better than many major league stadiums in the country. So it is top notch. Yeah. It'll be really fun. It'll be activated year round. We will have holiday light shows. There will be concerts and activities. The symphony wants to bring some folks out. So I think you'll be really excited about the programming that happens within the ballpark. There will be grab and go concessions, local vendors. I encourage you to come check out the club space. I know the Jordan Education Foundation is having an event there. Many others have already started to book, but it's a beautiful space and we have maintained the spectacular views. So you will see those mountains every night and really remember why Utah is so special as you watch a game. So that's a little bit on the ballpark, but it ties to so much more that's happening there.
Ties to so much more, but we are very excited about the ballpark, and that's the name, the official
The
name.
ballpark.
The ballpark at America First Square.
That's right.
We invite you all to join us literally this April. Can you believe that? I mean, really hats off to our team and your team because they are working around the clock to make that happen. Thank you to everyone who's involved with that. We are so excited. The vision that's been created, that we collectively have created, is so much more than it originally was 20 years ago, back in the day when it was first. This has turned into something so much more impactful, even better, really significant for the entire region. And we're excited about it. So there's a lot of other things happening around the ballpark. If you drive by, you're going to see it. If you haven't driven by, go drive by. You'll be like, there is a lot going on there. Let's talk about some of the other cool things happening.
Well, we're calling it our season of openings. Hats off to our real estate and sports and entertainment teams. They've branded it as a season of openings. And so it will never be a dull moment from the track station to at the end of March to the first homestand in April. April 8th is the first week of the first homestand. We'll then be seeing concert series return to the plaza. There'll be a concert venue there and a stage that opens in May. All throughout the summer, you'll see restaurants opening. We have really fun, exciting announcements to make there. And then we now have a megaplex that's being built. It will contain cinema, bowling, games, and dining. So it'll be a really robust offering for your families, for corporations. If your city staff wants to get away and go hide for a minute, it'll be a great place. They want to come. Apparently
They're ready.
all right. And the doors will open out onto this plaza. That will open late June, early July, kind of in that blockbuster movie season. So, and then you'll start to see apartments and those things come on as you get in later in the year and beyond. I will announce that a part of that affordable housing, you'll see about 400 workforce housing units come online in the next 3 years. And we're really excited about that too. Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, thank you to all. We all worked on that. And I'm really proud of that contribution to this community because it is the backbone of all of our communities. And so we are thrilled. Please come celebrate, come party with us, bring your families, bring your friends, ride the train, ride your scooter. We want to see you all there, and you'll have something to do almost every day of the year. So I hope you can clear your calendars and come spend time with us.
We cannot wait. So there's an important note that I want to add to this, and I cannot say this enough, and I will soapbox this every day. This stadium is not being paid for with taxpayer dollars. The Larry H. Miller Company is paying 100% of the cost of building this stadium. The investment they are making in our community is monumental, and it will change the face of our community, the opportunities, the amenities for the entire region in a way that we could never do on our own. This is a very special public-private partnership for us. We are so grateful. I'm going to ask you to give a round of applause to thank Amanda and everyone at her team for their significant investment in our community.
Thank you.
So lest you think that I am not having a great time, you're wrong. I am so excited to be here. As at UTA, this is exactly what we believe so passionately about, and that is transporting people and getting them to anything and everything that they're doing every single day. And we are like the infrastructure. We weave and connect. We connect to the various things that you'll see cities really focused on. We love students. Thank you, Representative. I'm not going to call you former just yet. We connect people. And it's one of the things that really I love about representing UTA. We look to make sure that we are maximizing our real estate opportunities by focusing on HTRZ, and that's the Housing Transit Reinvestment Zone. We talk a lot of acronym here, so just so that you know. It is really transformational because what we're looking to do is to create this housing transit nexus piece. But you can't just do housing. And you can't just do one element. You want to make sure that you're doing all of these things that all of these cities are investing in. You're investing in that community. And when we look at our system, we know that we have a lot of communities that want to connect. And that is our number one goal. Officially, we move you at UTA. I want you to do one thing for me, though. I want you to go to our website, rideuta.com, and take a look at our 5-year service plan and what we have in store for service for all of our communities, including, of course, South Jordan. And hats off to all of the dedication and hard work. You see here a lot of incredibly amazing women who have taken an idea, taken a thought, started in education, started in all of these different things. I just got so excited there, my mic cut out. And how they have weaved their own stories within all of our communities. And that's what we love so much. And how we connect to the housing, to work, to lifestyle. You can hear all the investment that the private sector is making, that Larry H. Miller and Amanda's team are just doing an incredible job. Because they're thinking about how is it that we want to continue to live and thrive in our communities. And we look at this as we are that core infrastructure, and we want to make sure that we're getting you to those places. And if I could wave a magic wand, I would love to have so much more robust transit. And we're getting there. We are an expensive date. Anyone who's ever told you that UTA is inexpensive, they're wrong. But we love our investment because that's really the core infrastructure that's going to get us to continue to develop as we grow. And we are going to grow, and we're trying to grow smartly. And I know that that's a nuanced conversation because we want to be strategic about how we're investing our money. As Mayor Wilson said, we do not have unlimited funds, but what we want to do is use those funds in the best way possible so that we can continue to connect and continue to connect to communities like South Jordan. And I just want to say, on a personal note, I get so inspired sitting up here because I always think, you know, I've got my head down, I'm focused on my real estate stuff in UTA, I'm focused on how can I maximize these opportunities? And I look at all of these amazing people, all these council members, all of these people who are serving their communities, the communications teams, everyone really looking to say, how can we make this better for the next generation, which is our children? And so I just wanted to let everybody know how much we want to make sure that we are continuing to evolve and connect you more in the future. So with that, that is my little soapbox, but I cannot tell you it's just an honor to be up here.
Well, I want you to know that we would not be able to do what we are doing without your support, you and Carlton and the team at UTA. If you had said no to the HTRZ, this whole thing would not be happening. None of this would be happening. If you had said no to the HTRZ, none of this would be happening. If the legislature, the House, or the Senate had said no, if the school district, if the water district, all these partners that came together and said, this is better for everyone. This is going to prove to be very beneficial for the entire community and every public entity that's part of it. We just are so grateful for your support and your help. And along those lines, this new track stop, it is no small task to get a new track stop, especially when it was planned in the long range plan for about 10 years from now. No small task. It was so much work for each of us here to get to the point where the State Transportation Commission voted to approve moving that track stop up so that we would have a track stop that opens right out onto the plaza, walks right out to the ballpark. It's right in between the South Jordan Parkway and the Daybreak Parkway stops. We'll have another stop on the red line that takes you just right out to the stadium. So if you've got friends in Salt Lake or friends in Davis County or anywhere, just tell them to just hop on the red line and they don't have to drive out and they can just walk right out and get right back on. We are so excited for that to open the end of March, provided we get our station area plan approved, which we're going to do next week. So there's so many moving parts, but without your support, none of these projects would happen. None of this would be happening. And that's why I wanted them to be here. They represent a gazillion people that have been working with us to try to make great things happen. And we're just really grateful.
Yes. Mayor, if I can just add a shout out to getting that tracks line. As a legislator, we hear from our citizens often about transportation, especially in this area of Salt Lake County, and a lot of concerns. And we appreciate, I speak for the citizens that I have heard from for years. thank you so, so, so much for all the effort that's gone on from the city, from the county, from UTA to making this happen. It is monumental. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know I speak for my colleagues and all of the very incredibly dedicated people at UTA behind the scenes who are working and navigating to try to maximize all of our connections. We really appreciate that. And we continue to evolve as a partner. So everything that we learn, we focus on. We're continuing to listen to our communities. We think that that's the number one way to maximize all of the growth that we have.
And I want to add, hearing the councilwoman list the long list of committees that this mayor is on. She's not doing that to have like a 3-sheet resume. What she's doing is engaging with key partners in the community on the behalf of residents. And you see the payoff, right? We know her, we trust her. She puts the work in and the community reaps the benefit. And again, both I think from all of our perspectives, these are not amenities just for this city. These are regional amenities. And it will be exciting to see people come to South Jordan to go to the first game and the many games after and enjoy that beautiful new setting. I'm excited just to hear you talk about how special that new stadium is going to be. But it takes dedication, and it takes being willing to work as hard as you do. And that's the secret sauce that South Jordan has at this moment in time, are its leaders and the work that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, lest you think that any of this is easy, because we're all friends and we all get along so well. We really like each other. We're accomplishing so much. I don't want you to leave here with this rose-colored glasses idea that, wow, it's just easy. Why can't anybody else do this? It is not easy. None of this is easy. These leaders are willing to do hard things and engage, and there are so many times we all represent different organizations, different entities, some of the same people, some of different people, but we all have unique interests that we need to blend together, and we don't always agree. And I appreciate that Amanda said, but we're committed to getting this right. And so we can disagree, and then we're going to work through it. And that's why our council is so successful, because we have a commitment to work together and get through it. We're going to come up with an answer and a solution and a plan forward that is best for the city of South Jordan. And we're going to work until we get there and we all feel good about it. And that's what we're doing. That's what's happening up here. We could go on for about 1,000 hours. We barely touched on anything, even though you probably feel like we've been up here for a while. We're working on a lot. We didn't talk about all of our efforts with UDOT and the work taking place on Mountain View Corridor. If you've driven Mountain View Corridor between the Daybreak and the South Jordan Parkway, you'll notice those Texas turnarounds that have been being installed. That's what I call them. I don't know if that's what we call them too. Yeah. A lot of work is taking place. And tonight we're mostly focusing on things happening on the west side of our city. If we had another hour, we would spend the next hour on things happening on the east side of our city. There's a lot going on in South Jordan. We're really proud to be building 6 new pickleball courts that are well underway. They look so good. They're almost done at East Riverfront Park. So we will have 6 more city-owned public pickleball courts on the far east side of our city. That'll give us 18. And when we started together as a team in 2018, we had none. So we're really proud of that. We're happy to be almost at 18 pickleball courts, and we're going to keep going because our residents love it. Yeah, thank you. I'm like, if you're a pickleball person, that's a thing.
I think that that's a pickleball challenge. So noted, play pickleball.
Yeah. I mean, people just wait for so long for the chance. But in 2018, we had no public pickleball courts in this city, and now we'll have 18. And in just a few short years, that's something we've prioritized because our residents have asked us to. So there's a lot of good work happening here. We're not perfect. Things are never going to be perfect. We get by on the tightest budget in the history of getting by. It's a huge credit to our council and our staff for working so hard. we're grateful. I am so grateful. So as I think each of you really quickly, I just want to see if you'll each take a second and give a final thought. What are your thoughts? What are your, I mean, you're here, you're probably going to say something nice, but for real, be honest, what are your final thoughts? God, we got a lot more work to do. We do. We absolutely have a lot more work to do, but anything you want to share as a final thought? Let's start with Beth.
Thank you. So as we look at the continued growth of our communities as a whole in our entire region, we do have some significant challenges in terms of how can we continue to serve at a level that's going to benefit everyone, but we still have to figure out how to pay for that. And we have some projects that we want to focus on that we call them, we have a deadline, 2034. I'm sure you guys have heard 2034. It's the Olympic deadline. For us, that's actually not the deadline. The deadline is actually a couple of years earlier than that. And what we want to do is there's about 5 key things that we think is really going to enhance our connectivity and is going to help us to navigate as citizens when the world comes to visit us. And that's a key piece to this too. And a lot of infrastructure it's just like remodeling your house. Nobody wants to have to pay for the electrical to be done again, right? The sewer lines, those things that never show when you have a beautiful open house. That's what we consider a lot of what we are doing and how we are going to navigate those projects. So we have ordered new cars from our manufacturing partner here in the state, Stadler. And so right now we have about 20 light rail vehicles that are going to be manufactured within our state. We consider that a massive win-win, but we don't have enough for the entire line. And so we need about 20 more cars, and that's a pretty penny, 180 million of them to be exact. And we also want to make sure that we're doing an orange line connection so that we can get to the airport more frequently. 7.5-minute service is a huge investment in not just our communities, but getting people who are going to and from the airport. Those are things that we want to focus on. We have a couple of bus rapid transits. We have a lot of things that on the federal side where we get a lot of our capital from to do projects, we just don't get enough funding for. They base them on things like ridership and all of these other components, and they're very competitive with other entities. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is we are focusing on these projects in a way that's not just going to enhance 2034, which it will, but also all of our communities as we continue to have this regional investment into our future. I do think one other thing really fast is that if we are going to also continue to provide service, and again, 5-year service plan is right now, in the next couple of years, you're going to see more increased service in every area of our service. And that's also a commitment that we want to make. And in order to do that, we have to have operators, we have to have all the behind the scenes. So we want to make this really just a stellar transit agency for our communities that we serve moving forward. And so that is a reality challenge that we are ready and geared up to start to do. So thank you.
I love this question. Thank you for asking it. As I think about the southwest quadrant of this valley, and statistically, we know it's the fastest growing and the population here is booming. Our mission at the Larry H. Miller Company is to enrich lives. And we believe that we create and make the places where life takes place, whether it's your first date at a movie theater to maybe healthcare and someone caring for your elderly loved one, or building an incredible downtown Daybreak. We love that essence. But I think for us, we live by these 2 words as we go about our future. It's courage and it's collaboration. And I would encourage everyone in this room to have that courage. When I think about Daybreak 20 years ago, it was a green field. There wasn't a TRAX line. There was no red line. There was no Mountain View corridor. But there was vision and courage of people who came well before us. And they put those pieces in place so that we can benefit today. We have the same opportunity tomorrow to have courage and to collaborate to put those pieces in place for generations 20, 30, 50 years from now, whether that's a red line extension to the Point or other great projects that we might be working on, right? The vision, the courage, and we have to do it together. We have to collaborate so that the places that we go there's life there and there's memory and that we're enriched. And so that's what we're focused on. And we're really grateful to be partners with all of you because that's what we're invested in and it's where we want to spend our time.
Well, thank you. There's so many thoughts running through my mind right now. And I want to thank you for this format and this incredible conversation. I'm inspired and I learned a lot from each of you. So thank you. And thanks to this amazing group of people who are here virtually as well as in person. I think I have a couple points. One is that we have a diversified economy in this county. And it's due to really the local vision that you're seeing here in this community. And the commitment that our legislature makes, our elected leaders, our governor, our mayors, all the way, it's powerful to really see the dedication that we have in this valley by the people who are here in this room, in staff positions and elected officials that keep our economy humming. And I think what I think about every day is how this is really the moment, right? We wanted to be somebody before the Olympic Games. We were striving to get that big headquarters that would find us and move here. Well, we did it differently. We grew more organically, and we are doing really, really well. Having said that, there are people left behind in our communities. And I think every day I try at Salt Lake County to make sure that the worker and the person in need is also being served by government, not just, new baseball. And I know this is a vision and mission of the Miller Company because I've heard it directly from its lead, Gail. Her interest in lifting up community. So I think we always need to be really aware, not just of chasing the big cool things and building the swimming lanes and all of that, but just really making sure that we are creating capacity so that everybody, every child, every person in this community thrives. And then I wanted to just share a little story because clearly this is a female power panel. And it's a story that really leans back to this idea that the governor shared in his address the other day, and that it's the people on the ground doing the work every day that make our community so successful. And if you weren't there, if you haven't seen it, go play his address because it was incredibly impressive and it was very personal. And I compliment him for being that open. But he really complimented the people that enriched his lives. And I thought of something the other day. I experienced something the other day and I thought of it again today when I saw you, Amanda. And I went with my son to lease a car. He needed to get a car. He's an ASU student. He's 19 and I had to get him back to school. And we made the decision to lease a car. So we were at the Kia store, and it wasn't one of the Larry H. Miller auto stores, I'm sorry, but another great auto dealer. But the woman who took care of the financing took a minute to share a little bit about her career, and I was so inspired by her. But she has prospered in her career largely because of a message that she received from Gail at a sales meeting. And she took the time to share that she really appreciates female leadership and she appreciates being inspired by other women. And I just wanted to share that because it really does speak to my point and the governor's about it's the people on the ground getting up every day, going to work, raising their families, caring for their neighbors. It's the fire departments that picked up, and I know it's their jobs, but they're out there saving my sister's home at this moment. She lives in Brentwood, and I think her home's going to be okay. But her friends lost their homes. And I know that some of the men and women who went and they care. And that's who we are in this community. And I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired to know Gail and hear this woman who was inspired by her, who was contributing every day, the only woman working in leadership in this dealership. So that's what I see is powerful in this community. Elected leaders and community members who care. We are doing really well, and we just have to make sure we don't let anybody slip through the cracks.
Interestingly, my thoughts are similar. I was thinking back to the years ago when I began this journey and when I began seeking office to represent South Jordan. Some of you out there and many people said, you need to get to know so-and-so. You need to meet so-and-so. And, and I did. And it was not the mayor and it wasn't not the city council members. It was city council members, but in addition to, it was the wonderful, amazing people in South Jordan City who are involved and who are engaged in everything from government and policymaking and speaking out to helping, to donating time and trying to make schools better, to donating time to try to help with the veterans. And they serve on the committees in South Jordan. I actually worked for a guy who was on the South Jordan Historical Committee, and he introduced me to some, and actually he used to call it the Hysterical Committee. But I was so impressed and so awed by the people in South Jordan, the amazing people, and some have lived here for most of their lives, and some are just moved here more recently. But there are so many people in South Jordan that make this an absolutely incredible place to live. And yes, our city council and our mayor and the staff and so on they represent those people and they do a fantastic job. But I just want to have a huge shout out and appreciation to the so many citizens in South Jordan, and many of you are here tonight. Of course, you're here tonight because you are supportive and you help and you work to make things better in your city and in your community. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to represent you, and it's been an even greater pleasure to know you and watch you. Thank you.
Thank you. There's not much I could add to that. I want to say thank you. It is somewhat overwhelming to sit up here tonight and to talk about all of the great things happening in our city. This is one of the most dynamic times in the history of South Jordan. And myself and our city council were so privileged to get to be part of it. But when we're done, it'll be somebody else's turn. And our goal is to have somebody else come in and work as hard as we have and do the best they can to try to represent their neighbors and the people who asked them to, the people who said, listen, I can't follow the ozone situation and I don't have the bandwidth to figure out where to start to get a new track stop, but we need it. And so please go work on that. It really is the people of South Jordan. An event like this is meant to be. Here's a lot of great highlights that are happening, but it is the people. It is the people of our community that make South Jordan great. I had a friend here tonight that said, I don't know why I was invited. And my mom said, wait, what? Do you serve on a committee? Why are you invited? And I said, because you do so much in this community. I wasn't an elected official before I took this office, and I did a lot in this community. And it had nothing to do with government, local government. It wasn't elected, it wasn't political, but it made a difference. I did my best to try to make a difference. That's why you're invited. I'm grateful for what you do. We're so grateful for each of you, for the time you put in, for the ways you serve your families, your neighborhoods, your congregations, your soccer teams, whatever it is, you're all doing it. We have a lot of volunteers here tonight. South Jordan would not be what it is without you. And there are so many people in this room that without you, I wouldn't have the chance to do what I'm doing. I would not be in this seat without you. And I am so grateful to get to share this work and this success and the opportunities and the challenges with all of you. You have our commitment. In 2017, I said collaboration is what I bring to the table and it's what I'm offering if you want it. And I will do the best I can to collaborate with who I think is sincerely the best city council in the state of Utah. We have an amazing team and our staff is second to none. There's a bias here, but I also have the privilege of knowing a lot of folks in this state, and I know that we are blessed to have who we have. Brilliant people who work really hard, people who will leave and keep us safe. This is a role that requires collaboration if you want to get things done, and we have the right people in our city, in our community, currently holding office, and some who will in the future, willing to do that. This is a nonpartisan role, and that is something we take very seriously in South Jordan. Local elected mayors and council are nonpartisan, and that matters because, you know, the fires, they don't care what party you belong to. They don't care what your political views are. Car accidents, emergencies, any of the services necessary, they're no respecter of persons. We are here to serve every person who lives in the city of South Jordan and to ask for your input and your collaboration with us. Please keep working with us. Please keep coming. Let us know what you love. Let us know what you hate. Let us know what you want us to work on, and we are committed to doing it. So grateful for these partners. So grateful for your time and your willingness to work. We are changing the future of this city forever, for generations. We're trying to maximize the state's investment in transit by putting attainable housing that's a little more dense in the right place, not in your neighborhood, not where your single family home is, not on your 3-acre lot, right next to the transit stop. That's the right place for it. And we've got a whole generation of our own kids and grandkids that need to be able to live the American dream by getting into housing and starting to build some equity and having the same opportunities we've had. It's harder today than it ever has been, and we are committed to getting that right. Everyone up here is working hard to get that right. It's not fast, it's not easy, but it's also not optional. So please keep giving us your feedback. Please keep loving your neighbor, loving your family, showing up. And when you don't have the bandwidth for it and you're like, I'm overwhelmed by everything that I hear, remember that the decisions that are being made at the federal level don't impact your life nearly as much as the decisions that are being made here. And you have our promise that we'll keep doing the best we can to make the decisions you want us to make, whatever's best for the future of the city of South Jordan. Thank you all, and God bless you and the city of South Jordan and the great United States of America. Thank you.